Welcome to Trading Secrets. How to grade your setup, whether it's just a A plus setup, A setup, B plus setup, B setup, D setup, C setup, C plus setup, C minus setup. How to grade your setups. Now, this is the only part where it doesn't require technicals. This requires primarily the operator. But before we go any further, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, and make sure you guys join the Telegram link in the description down below. But how to actually grade setups? You see a lot of people calling on Twitter, X, CRT concepts, ICT concepts, whatever setups, whatever type of concepts, and they grade their setup. Oh yeah, this was an A plus setup. Yeah, this was an A setup. This is a B plus setup. And they'll make excuses like, yeah, this is a B minus setup, so that's why I took a loss. But it was not that high probability. Now, if you wonder like, well, how are they even grading their fucking setups? I don't know how to fucking grade my setups. And that concept is very simple, right? And we're gonna talk about it. And also, grading your setups isn't through technicals. It's through one thing. It's through experience. And overall, how do you grade your setups? It's through experience, right? Because since there's no technicals to it, it's primarily based on the experience. And some people does say about the psychology, right? How confident you feel, but that isn't going to determine whether if it's a plus setup, A setup, right? People do say you have to use your emotions to whether to know, if it's A plus setup or not, right? If it's a high probability setup or not. Now, that theory is bullshit. The simple reason why it's bullshit is because it doesn't come through your psychology. The way you want to use psychology for is for the risk management part. It's for the part where, okay, should I risk 1%, 5%, 3%, 2%, 1%, 0.5%? How much am I willing to risk depending on my experience plus my psychology, emotion? Do I feel confident in the setup? Do I feel confident enough that this setup will actually deliver? Otherwise, on grading your setup is completely different. It's not based on your psychology, because psychology is based on how much are you willing to risk, how much are you willing to risk in a specific table, on a specific trade. Now, on the other hand, grading your setup is all based on experience, right? So you would know, okay, based on, it's not psychology part, by the way, based on a specific price action, the specific concepts on that the market are currently in, what is currently market offering me, you could determine through a large sample size. So through the experience of you constantly seeing that, okay, you could determine this being a plus or A or B plus or B. And I suggest you guys never take any setups other than A plus, right? Anything other than A plus setup are fucking low quality gambles, right? Because A plus setups will have a higher chance of expectancy to your way, right? You're gonna have a higher chance of hitting it, rather than taking anything rather than a B plus, A, or whatever that shit is called, because those suck, right? And they're fucking low quality fucking gambles. You don't want to take them shits, right? You want to take the highest probability and you want to make the most out of it. And people are like, well, if I take I plus setup only, how am I supposed to make more money, right? Fucking risk more on the A plus setups. You're allowed to risk more on the A plus setup, but you're forbidden to risk more on the low quality fucking gambles, right? You can't gamble on this fucking trading. Trading is not built like that. Trading is built this is what trading is built. Trading on a part-time, meaning out of the month you take, let's say 6-8 trades, right? Out of the month, right? Around there. But you're making so much that you're making a full-time amount of traders. Or you're making so much that you're making a doctor salaries, millions of dollars, right? Without you constantly being being in the market, fucking trading 100 times in a day, make it one pip, right? That's how not trading gets. Trading is completely different. That's why most people fail, right? So now enough of that. What we're here for is primarily how to grade setup. There will be a video on uh how to risk more, or like risk management part, but this is primarily for this, right? This which doesn't require psychology. So how do you grade your setup is simple: experience. And how do you gain experience? You have to pay attention to the market. You have to constantly see, okay, is this A plus setup? Is this telling me if it's A plus setup? To me, every setup I take or A plus setup, because I take one trade a week, two trades, very rarely, but primarily one trade a week, right? So one trade a week or not even a trade a week. This week, I didn't take a single fucking trade, right? Because no high probably setup at my end. Because at my end, everything must align. When everything aligns in technical wise, that to me is considered high probability setup. I don't use psychology in that part, because practicing could be shitty, and I could determine it. Okay, this is a low probability setup because practicing is shitty. That's fucking completely wrong, right? I trade my setups. I grade my setups based on the protocol, and in my protocol, if one is missing, the whole building collapses, right? The whole building collapses. If I have the higher time frame correct, the entry time frame correct, and I have the lower time frame wrong, which is the day trading aspect wrong, where I basically didn't wait for the O to E, that whole trade fucking collapsed because market will do a deeper retracement, then go my way, right? So to me, if I miss one protocol, I will not take the trade, right? Because I need everything to be there, and when everything is there, to me, that is considered to be high probability to set up. Anything other than that is a low quality gamble, which I don't fucking take, right? So it's very simple, very easy, and make sure you guys. That's how you get your setups. It's very simple. But how can you actually know if it's a high probability setup, roller play setup? Set protocols, right? Set protocols. Okay, no, I must have this in a higher time frame. I must have this in a lower time frame. I must have this in the execution time frame. If I don't get this in the execution time frame, I'm not gonna trade it. I'm gonna wait until I get the higher time frame, etc., etc. Then based on that, you grade your setup. So you gauge your setup overall based on the experience, because once you constantly do that, you gain experience. Now you know a little bit more. Okay, this is low probability. I'm not gonna take it. But to me, all of my setups are high probability setups, and these setups that I take that high probability setup, people want to like, well, you still take losses on them. Yeah, cool. Yeah, because losses are gonna happen. They're inevitable. But I don't count my losses that are a mistake. So if I make a mistake, let's say I don't wait for a lower time frame, valid low to get formed, and I take it prematurely, and I take a loss, I will not count as a loss. What I'll count as a lesson, right? Because I want to actually count my real losses. Although it was regardless still being a record, but to me it will not give it will not give me emotion, because this is not my part of my setup. So I'm not gonna count it. What I'm gonna do to learn from it, but your calls, you will make mistakes. But you're not gonna make those mistakes, man. You're gonna make it enough time for you to know, okay, I never have to make this mistake again. I never have to make this mistake again, because I went through it too much, right? Which that's what I went through. Now I don't make the same mistakes over and over, right? I made the mistake once, eventually learn from it, right, and never make it again. So you first gotta know that in order for it to grade your setup, and you gotta know, okay, if this is an actual valid loss, if it's a valid loss, okay, put that in the records. Okay, I took this many loss, I took this much loss, and I won this much. I'm up, okay, but your record still showed you fucking loss. You're losing a lot, right? Those losses are lessonable losses. So on a longer term basis, don't give a fuck about them. Just constantly keep on trading, right? Eventually, once you get up higher, although you're not gonna be up as much because you took too many mistakes. Now your job is to eliminate those mistakes and only let the positive losses take you. Only let the good losses happen, right? Which follow your protocol, follows every single protocol of your checklist of your setups. Then take those, because when the market follows all your protocols, all your checklists, then that is considered to be a high probability setup. When it misses, when it checklists all of them but misses one, that is considered to be a very low fucking probability, right? So anything that's than that, you should not take anything that, because like I have had multiple times, I think more than 50 times, where I had setups and literally one fucking setup, one, right? Not one setup, like all the setups, right? All of the setups, there's one thing that's missing with them, right? Yeah, you it had all the protocols there, but one is missing. And the fucking trade collapsed, right? It didn't work out. But when I did take all of them combined, I would take it. Beautiful setup. But guess what? I took so many fucking losses, that little good ass trade wouldn't fucking cover it, right? So I was like, oh shit, I'm making so many mistakes. I'm taking a skillet trade, but a skillet trade isn't enough for me to actually get back in profits and grow my account. So what I gotta do is fuck all these shitty shots I'm taking that are missing literally one checklist. What I'm gonna do, fucking erase it, never take them again. Only focus on protocols, only focus on trades that follow all my protocols, every single one of them, right? Not one missing, because if it's one is missing, it's a low probability setup. It's a low fucking quality gamble. You should never take. And from there on forward, I actually saw growth, and I actually improved as a fucking trader. I actually made money, right? Because you could take the skeleton trades, but if the skeleton trades are not making it more than, if those skeleton trades are not making you money, then it's fucking useless, right? Because at the end of the day, you're still in negatives, right? So, but just focus on checklist. Make sure all your checklists are fucking checked off. Not one single one is missing, because if one single one is missing, it's a low quality gamble. And other than that, that's how you grade your setup. It's just primarily through experience. Once you constantly do it, you'll know, okay, there's a low probability setup, I'm not gonna take it. And the best way to know if this is a high probability setup is to look at your checklist. Does it follow all my protocols? Yes, it does. Okay, it's a high probability setup. I'm gonna take it. But if it doesn't follow all my protocols, okay, cool. It doesn't follow my protocol, so I'm not going to take it. Right? Because it's low probability. And the only setup we take is high probability. There is no such thing as A plus setups. B plus setups is only high probability. And anything that high probability is low probability gamble, right? Which we don't want to take. High probability setups follow all your trading guideline rules, every single one of them. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share. Join the Telegram link in the description down below, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.